Hey, good evening, everyone. Hello. Oh my goodness, 5 people sitting here waiting for me. Awesome. Hello. For those of you just joining me, brand new, I'm Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. I am in West Central Minnesota. So I do a lot of gardening, cooking, letting you know what life is like in Minnesota, especially in the winter. And we're good to go. Hello, Alicia and Grandma Karen. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. You guys rock. I built on the Rock Homestead. Kiri, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Annalise, hello. When do I start to harvest tomatoes? Good question. I'm just starting to get some buds on my plants now. Good evening, Christy. So tomatoes are generally coming around the 3rd to 4th week in July, somewhere around there. Might be earlier depending on the weather. If we have a lot of hot, humid weather coming up, and so they may end up growing a whole lot faster. But generally, it's towards the end of July. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Sure, Alicia, that'd be great. At the end would be fine. That'd be great. Hey, Megan, hi. As long as you're better, I totally get that. But thank you for being here. Hey, Lone Heron. Yes, we got some beautiful rain last night and early this morning up until probably about 8 or 9 o'clock. It was wonderful. We got probably close to an inch here, somewhere around there. Yes, we got. Did you get some rain? We needed it so badly. My week has been crazy. Very, very crazy. So it's my parents are both very elderly. They're 90 years old, and by the grace of God, they're still with us, both at 90. But my mom has been in the hospital. Hey, Dave, good evening to you. And so my dad needs a lot of care, and she has been his caregiver. So my siblings and I, and they live an hour and a half away from me. So the last 9 days, I've spent 5 days down there, going back and forth, helping out, taking care of my dad. Now it's taking care of my mom and dad because they're together at home. So she's improving. Thank you, Megan. She's improving. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, it's going to be a slow go, and there have to be some changes and shifts in their life. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So oh wow, 40 dozen eggs. Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. Thomas, where do you, what state do you live in? Because I know somebody in California who would love to do that, but there's so many regulations there. So, hey, Heather, good evening in Tennessee. Thank you for coming. Hi, Tammy. First time. You guys, thank you so much for coming over from Roots and Refuge. For my old timers, you guys, it's just, hey, Sean. Jess and Maya from Roots and Refuge really, really gave me a great shout out last night on their live, and I got a whole bunch of new viewers and subscribers and everything, and it was just awesome. So just welcome them here. Hey, two-seaters, good evening to you. Yeah, so we've got some new people coming in. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, it was very sweet of them. So, Thomas, that's awesome. That is so great. Let me see here. So because all my days have been spent just running back and forth and everything, it's just been, it's like I'm meeting myself one end over the other type of thing. And I'm just like, yeah, burning the candle at both ends, trying to take care of everything here. So yes, you did finally make it. Thank you, Two Seaters. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Chasing Life. I am doing well. Thank you so much. How about you? Kind of, for those of you new to this, we kind of do like 10 or 15 minutes of hellos and how's your weather and all that kind of stuff. And then I kind of get into the subject matter or the meat of the hour, if you will. So we can have good conversation and teaching and different things like that about it. And then I try to give a few other tips. Thanks, Alicia. Oh, you guys, so how's everybody else doing? We have been, no, I do have my Diet Pepsi tonight, though. I will have to say that. I know it's a cup full of chemicals, but every once in a while, it's just one of those days I need it, so. Oh, getting ready to move. Oh, moving is so hard. Moving is so hard. I know how that is. But thank you for being here. Hopefully this will be a little moment of de-stress for you. And then you can do this. So you like coffee chemicals. Oh, that's great. That is good. So our weather has been hot. Normally for June, our average is, in the mid-70s type of thing. And usually rainy, some hot days, and then some even cooler days, getting to the 60s. Even around the 4th of July, we can end up dipping down into the 50s, and then mid-July ends up being, that's where we crank it up into the 90s and everything else. Well, thanks, Karen. We have had a very hot June, and we've been in the 80s and 90s most of the time. And this week is all upper 80s, low 90s with a minimum of 50% humidity. Generally, it's going to be up in the 70 to 80% humidity. So hot and humid this week. And that's early. I just like, in another month when we get our typically hot end of the summer, our third week in July, fourth week in July, I don't know, we may have a long stretch in the hundreds. I don't know, but yeah, Christy, so you know what that's like then. So Chasing Life, you're trying to figure out how to move the few veggie plants you can't part with. Oh, are they in the garden? Are they in pots? Can you dig them up to transplant them into pots just to carry them with? Or put them in large grow bags, cloth bags or something. So the thing I could think of, just to dig them up, transplant, carry them over and then plant them right away in your new place. You like a ripper every now and then, I know. You're at 85%, yeah. So today we had rain. It's been overcast and mid-80s, I think. And I didn't even get outside. Well, no, I did get outside. I dumped a bunch of rainwater in my catchment. So I did do that, but everything else was just meetings and work and different things like that inside. So yes, the humidity has just been. You're familiar, I know the Tennessee humidity, yeah. And, people think, well, Minnesota is like, you don't get warmer than maybe 70 in the summer or something because it's we've got such cold winters. No, because we're right in the center of the continent, we get that extreme cold during the winter and then extreme heat in the summer because we don't have, even though we've got like 12,000 lakes in our state, we don't have the cooling waters off of like the ocean or anything like that. Now in northern Minnesota in the Arrowhead region, they've got if they get the east winds off of Lake Superior, that does help keep it a little bit more temperate up there. But Wednesday's Canada Day. Awesome. Oh, that would be great. Oh, Eliza, you're throwing me a wrench there. Okay, that's great. Homegrown wife. I like that. Yes, it is extra warm early. Homegrown wife lives about an hour and a half from me, just a little bit west. Hey, Matt and Sarah. Hi. Thrifty VG. Hello. Welcome to you. Eli, hello. Oh my goodness, good to see you. Really good to see you. Heather, you were tying up your black cherry tomatoes. They're getting so tall, starting to get too flush. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, things are just, they're hot and growing fast. So I don't remember where I was now. I stopped to say hi to everybody. Between your parents and in-laws near Duluth, the temps really change. Yes, they do. They really do. So we've got the great extremes. So we'll be 100, 105 during the summer with high humidity. And then 6 months later, we're 40 below with minus 70 wind chills, stuff like that. So you're driving a little bit. Well, I'm so glad to make the trip with you, Thrifty VG. That's so great. You're trying to grow. I have never heard of black cherry tomatoes. That sounds really good, actually. Are they, is it like a regular sized tomato that's just in black cherry color, or are they black, the cherry sized tomatoes? Because it could go either way. You advertise your book online. Well, Kiri, I'm so glad that you're able to multitask like that. That's great. Yeah, Sean, I almost wore mine. It got a little cool in here with my AC. It's not used to running on overcast days. But hey, Patty, hello. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Yes, I've got everything planted. Everything's in and done. I've got probably 5 or 6 videos shot. I just am trying to get through them for editing, and I was telling a lot of you at the beginning, I've been running back and forth taking care of my parents, and so that's been really hectic trying to get everything done. But you know, so if anybody's trying to follow exactly what I'm doing when I put out my videos, you won't have your garden in time. So I'm showing you the techniques kind of along the way and where my garden is. So the one I just put up about the onions, I actually filmed that maybe 3 weeks ago. So it's just been crazy. So I'm really trying to get them out for you guys. You're just moving videos now from the spring. It's, you know, trying to take care of the garden, getting everything done, building stuff, you know, working. I've got my own business. For those of you who are new, I'm a graphic designer and I freelance from home. And so that, and then, like I said, I've spent the last 5 out of 9 days running back and forth to my parents, and it's just been kind of crazy. So I am trying to get those out. The onions are actually doing very well. Probably of the seedlings that I put in, probably for about a week, they just laid on the ground, at least a week, and it looked like they were dead. I was sure they were all dead. And then they started cooking up a little bit, and now I would say I have 75 to 80% of them are doing well, and they're probably already 10 to 12 inches high. So they're coming around. They're surviving. Hey, Gil. Hello. I know. I'm so glad because I use onions a lot, and I count on them. My storage, my supply of them out of the garden, and it's Oh, goodness. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to have onions this year. Okay, thanks, Patty. That's great. All right. Been talking about different herbs, and we're on like a series of them. We've talked about um, what were the other herbs we talked about? Oh, chamomile, and let me go back and look. Oh, it's just one of those days. I'm sorry. Thyme, sage, and chamomile. There we go. Those are the ones we've talked about. So today we're going to talk about borage. I always wanted to, because I lived in Louisiana for 13 years, and so I have a lot of like the Cajun French influence in pronunciation with things. So I want to call it borage, like garage, you know, to the borage. But everybody says borage, and that's what the dictionary says too, is borage. So I guess I have to go with that. I think borage is like a little more exotic. It's a magical herb. Yes, yes, it is. What would cause your cucumber plant to flower but not grow any cucumbers? I imagine that would be similar. You know, other people, if you want to chime in, because I don't grow cucumbers, I haven't for years. But I would imagine it'd be something like squash, Alicia, that you got your male and female flowers, and maybe you're getting all of one or the other, and like all males or something, and it's just not pollinating properly. You just brought in 3 itty bitty potatoes. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so great. Chasing life, that is wonderful. What do we have here? Borage, the French voice. I know, doesn't it? It's a borage. Borage. Maybe I can start a new thing. I don't know. Okay, great. Chasing life, thanks. Yeah, so check on that, Alicia, and you know, see and maybe you have 1 female and 5 male flowers. Okay. So I don't know is there a way to manually pollinate those? I don't know. I'm not, you know, I don't know so much about that. So, oh, man, Sarah, that's so great. It grows so fast. I mean, it's like, I have a couple in there that are, that seeded last year, and because they're pretty much self-pollinate, or not pollinate, it's self-seeding. They're an annual plant, but when they flower and then dry off, they put out all kinds of black seeds, and they will pop up next year. So they're they're really self-perpetuating in that. So, you know, Alicia, you could certainly try that. Oh, cucumber possible need to self-pollinate. You know what? I would guess research that. Hey, Barbara, hello. I am doing well. Busy, but I'm doing well, thanks. You do it at sunset. Okay, Sean, that's a great advice here. That's funny. Little Barry. They like that then, don't they? Oh, goodness sakes. They're honest reseeders, not too prolific, which is what I like about them. Yes, the borage, I've got quite a few that have come up from last year, and oh my goodness, they're huge. They're almost like the biggest plants in my garden. What you want to do is make sure that you leave enough space around them when you plant them. You can start them indoors like a month before you're planting your garden, or you can seed them directly. Do some direct sowing in there. I know, isn't that great? Oh my goodness, Sean, you're on a roll. But some of the plants that they're best around are tomatoes, cucumbers. Let me see what else I have. Cabbage, yeah, cabbage too. Because one of the greatest effectiveness for that is repelling hornworms. and like cucumber beetles, things like that. So plant them. Don't put them like right in between the plants, but like around the perimeter if you can, or at either ends of beds. I've got my tomatoes planted in my bed, and then I've got them like in the corners and maybe one on each side, so that because they get so big and they drape over, they fall right over the side of my beds. But they're huge pollinators. They are pollinator attractors. The bumblebees love them. Absolutely love them. And you can be in there working right around them, moving the plants, everything. The bees are right in there, and they don't even care that you're there because they love the taste of those flowers. And okay, borage is, whoops, that's my thing. It's a medicinal herb, but it's also a huge beneficial in your garden. Oh, Knight Thomas, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You planted carrots in your garden for the first time. You've never tasted. I know. Aren't they good? They're so sweet from the garden. Yes. Chasing life, you're right. It's also known as starflower, bee bush, bee bread, or bugloss. So, but most people kind of know it as borage. Shad, you're getting creative. That's great. So you had some volunteer borage come up even where you were digging the dirt away with the bobcat. I know. I've got it popping up, not even all over my garden, but in like other areas of my yard. So the wind really took the seed and did different things with them. So yes, Heather, the flowers on them are beautiful. If you guys are able to, Google images of borage, you can see the pretty flowers. And so they make a really beautiful addition to your garden. Now, as they get older, the leaves are really, really coarse and kind of, well, they're rough, almost a little bit spiky on the edges. I mean, they won't cut you or anything like that, but they are pretty prickly. So they're furry, and so like I said, the older they get, the more prickly they get. No, I don't, Patty, but hold that thought. That would be great. I did not. Oh, wait a minute. I did find something about it. Where is it here? I thought I had written that down here. Borage. Okay, here we go. It's introduced to Britain by the Romans, and it grows wild in some areas. So you probably have more history than that. But all I know is that it was the Romans had it, and they introduced it to Britain. So I mean, it's like not even hundreds, but thousands of years old. So it's been around for a long time. We bought some borage seed last year, didn't get it planted. Oh yeah, you know, and you could even just go and stick it in the garden in different places, and they'll start popping up. Okay, I will get to that, Sean. I'm going to catch up with the chat here a little bit. Yes, they have hairs too, so they're kind of prickly. And Alicia, when you look it up, call it borage. There you go. Do the Canadian French part, borage. It's actually, mine is starting to flower already. Your first flowers from your borage today. Awesome. Okay. I will, thank you. So it's a medicinal herb. It attracts honeybees and bumblebees. You can eat its leaves, flowers, and stalks. They're edible. They taste a little bit like cucumber. Borage leaves are really good in salads, yogurt, or cream cheese mixtures, and also serving it with shellfish. That's apparently really good. I have not tried that, but last year I just grew it to prevent hornworms in the garden and didn't know that there was all these medicinal benefits to it. So this year I'm going to start to develop that. As a lot of you know, I'm working at developing out my herbs in my garden, as well as understanding what they're used for, preserving them, and having those on hand. So there's so many herbs, and you can only grow so many. But I have an in-house expert with us here. Okay, so the leaves are furry and prickly. They need to be picked young, and then you chop them finely if you're going to be using them in food. So, and the stalks, you can cook them like any other vegetable. Okay, so they repel hornworms. They're a good companion plant, like I said, for tomatoes, cabbage, and cucumber. You can trim off the old flowers to perpetuate the blooms. So if you want to add the flowers to different things, like I would probably, for myself, just dehydrate them. Take the flowers off, dehydrate them, and then store them in a jar for teas later on and stuff. You can also add, thank you, Sean. You can also add them to, your salads and things like that if you want to. I mean, they're gorgeous little, almost like a periwinkle colored, between blue and periwinkle colored flower, a star flower, and they're so pretty in there. They grow all over the world, Alicia. I don't know if you can purchase them in Canada. You'd have to check. Let me see if I can. I've got you guys sitting on top of my seed box for height. So let me see if I can pull if I can find them. Kind of crooked here. Okay, so you can prune them back midsummer as they're getting really big and everything. That's calendula. All right, not in that one. And they shed, like I said, they shed lots of black seeds. That one has it in here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find it so I can show you a picture of them. Oh, I have a box called pollinators. That's probably where they are. There it is. It's in my pollinator box. Okay. For those, see, I store my seeds like in these little photo containers. They go in a box. So this is borage here. I don't know if you can see it closely enough. So they actually end up a little bit more blue than what these show. These are showing pretty purple, but they're a little bit more blue on there. So on deviled eggs, ooh, candied flowers. Look at you guys, so many different possibilities there. That's awesome. I know, aren't they great? So, and I label them like, here's pollinators, here's herbs, different things like that. So, so I've got all these categories in here in my box. Hey, How to Garden, hello, thank you for coming in. Okay, so the borage also will add trace minerals to your soil as you're growing it and everything. It thrives in full sun. Like I say, you can start it indoors in the spring or direct sow it. It is from the same plant family as comfrey. So a lot of beneficials, a lot of different things. You know, their leaves are somewhat, you know, they're all fuzzy and hairy and stuff like that. But one of the things before we start getting into the uses, just a caution, there is some, you know, just like comfrey can potentially damage your liver. If you use a lot of borage, if you eat a lot or make a lot of tea or whatever, drink a lot, you use a lot of seed oil, it could also damage your liver. So disclaimer on that, and also check with your doctor before using because he knows your health. Yes, but there's so many other beneficials other than even just eating them that to have them. So you can make out of the seeds, they make seed oil, borage seed oil. And they can use the oil. And see, I would probably, if I made it, I would use it topically. It would be very hard to make seed oil though, because then it's like a whole extraction process and everything. But if I was ever to get it, and could probably make an extract oil out of the, I wonder, out of the leaves and the flowers. I didn't come across that, but they just talk about the seed oil because I think that has the most concentrated part of it. And so what it has in there is something that's very similar to omega-6 fatty acids. And but it has a, let me see, fatty acid called gamma linolenic acid, GLA, and it has anti-inflammatory effects. And the flower, they said, has an antioxidant effect. So it says just don't take it in high doses. It can damage the liver. Don't take it while you're pregnant or nursing or after surgery, because it is also somewhat of a blood thinner too. Don't take it if you have a liver disease or a bleeding disorder. So disclaimer there. So, or caution, different things like that. I gotta catch up on you guys. Oh my goodness. The bugs like it too. It must be good. Hey Gils, how are you doing? When you find your granddaughter mixing your seeds together. Oh, oh my goodness, that would be so great. Oh, it's anybody's guess, right? Just throw them out into the soil. So Patty, you freeze them in ice cubes and ice rings for floating in lemonade punch. How beautiful. Oh my goodness, that would be so. Do you freeze them fresh, or are they dried flowers? Well, I suppose you wouldn't really use them during the winter, so just as you're getting them. So do your bees. Lemon punch would be great with cucumber lemon water. Oh, Christy, I know you would have. Oh my goodness, I would have too. I mean, just imagine like all the seeds, you know. Oh. But Grandma was so fun. I made it so pretty, right? Oh dear. Hey, TNS dogs, how are you? Yeah, lemon punch. Yes, freeze them fresh. Okay, thank you. So anyway, borage seed oil is good for skin disorders. So for like eczema, red itchy scalp rash, that type of thing. So it's really good for skin stuff if you wanted to get some borage seed oil. It has been possibly effective for improving the function of the lungs in critically ill patients. So when taken in combination with, I don't even want to try to pronounce that, EPA, it might reduce the number of days spent in ICU and the length of time a breathing machine is needed by patients with acute respiratory distress syndrome. So that's something that they've found that's been effective. It's sometimes also used in infant formula for preemies, and it supplements supplemented with fatty acids from the borage oil and fish oils, and seems to improve their growth and development of their nervous system, especially for boys, which would be like so cool to know. Yes, Patty, do leave some flowers for the bees. But they do put out a lot of flowers, I mean, they're, yeah, the clusters, as you can see, like that's just on the end of one of the branches that come out, and they just get huge. I've got probably a couple dozen borage plants this year. Last year, I think I had 5 or 6. So I'm going to be saving a few borage flowers this year. Oh, thank you, Thrifty VG. That's so sweet that you're giving her a ride. That's awesome. Oh, thanks for being here, Eli. Thank you. Take care. There's also some evidence that taking borage seed oil in combination with conventional painkillers and anti-inflammatory meds, can help decrease RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis, after 6 weeks of treatment. So the improvement appears to last for up to 24 weeks. So if you have 6 weeks of treatment and then you can stop taking it, and that will last another 18 weeks after that. So the improvement is measured as a decrease in the number and severity of tender and swollen joints. So if anybody has RA, that could help with that. Thanks, Shelley. All right, so the seeds, other than containing omega-6 fatty acids, they also contain vitamin B, keratin, fiber, choline, and trace minerals. The borage flowers and the leaves are used for fever, cough, and depression. Borage is also used for adrenal insufficiency. So anybody who has, their adrenal glands are not working as well, said that can help out with it. And there I'd use the flowers or leaves as a tea in there. For blood purification, to increase urine flow, to prevent inflammation of the lungs. Can be used as a sedative to promote sweating. Increases breast milk production and can treat bronchitis and colds. So it can also be used as a dressing, like if you want to make like a borage salve or something, make borage oil and then make a salve out of that. It can help to soften your skin, as well as, that's probably a good way that I would use it for, if there were, like any type of eczema, psoriasis, anything like that. Oh, thanks, Gil, for coming. Bye-bye. The flowers are very pretty soft blue. Oh, that is sweet, Patty. I didn't know that. Tasting the nectar, because I didn't eat them last year. I didn't know I could. So, oh yeah, Tammy, they'll grow fast. They'll grow really, really fast. Yes, they'll go right into fall, absolutely. Mine were just huge, and they were just like taking over the pathway between my beds and everything. They were immense. So to trim them back, to keep them a little bit contained, and then you can use that part of the plant too. All right. So yes, you can eat borage in salads and soups and make a tea with it. Actually, in manufacturing, borage is used in skincare products, so they will actually grow that and use that for skincare. So anyway, so yes, make teas with the flowers and the leaves and all kinds of different things. Tammy, don't eat the calyx at the back of the flower. So what would the calyx look like? That would be a good thing to know. I know God's nature is amazing. It really is. So because of the scent it gives off, as well as the texture of the plant, the hornworms just leave your tomatoes alone. And so if you have, I just have a 3-by-6 foot bed with all my tomatoes in it. I have 2 beds of it this year, and so I have a lot of borage around there. But last year I didn't have a single problem with hornworms, and I hope they don't hear me this year, because they may not bother me. Wish you could send pictures. It only takes a few, 3 or 4 weeks to get blooming. Exactly. It does not take long at all. You're right, Gail. And I believe that, your yard is full of stuff. And last week we talked about chamomile, and I told you that I had some wild chamomile growing, and I was going to get a video done, and I actually did go out and video it and pick some, and I dehydrated it all. It's all done, so I just have to edit it, and it'll be done. But the calyx is the green part at the back of the flower. It has hairs like leaves. Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay. So it would be, here's the flower if I can find it. So it'd be these little green parts, kind of, that would be right behind the petals. It looks like. I know, Patty. It's like, yes, bees love borage too. So just pick the flower, but not the little green thingies. So what is, if you can eat the leaves and the stems and the flowers, why can't you eat the calyx things, the little green parts? Just wondering. So let us know. Okay, it's the part that protects the bloom as it gets ready to bloom and then folds it back as it opens. Okay. Oh, yeah. It would be these things, and then they fold back and turn into these little green dillies. So, oh, bye, Dave. Cut some hair. Oh, that's a good thing to do. But yeah, these, and the seeds are pretty big, so you can see where they're going. Did I freeze for you guys? Sometimes when there's like action close up to the screen, it kind of freezes. The hairs are stiff and bother your throat. Okay. Okay. So that's why they said to get the leaves. If you're going to use the leaves, gather them very young, not when they're older and stiffer and stuff. So if you wanted to use the leaves. The other thing you could do is, oh, okay, thanks. Oh, hey, Connie, hi. Yeah, if there's any problem, just go ahead and refresh your screen. That should help at all. So the leaves, either chop them up or, dehydrate them whole and then crumble them to be used in the future or whatever, however you decide you want to use it. But it is a beautiful blossom color. Yes. So borage, I mean, so many things it can do. And it's just awesome. It's wonderful. All right. So garden tip for before I get into that, you guys, a number of weeks ago, I talked about, I don't know if some of you remember, about Doolittles, and I think it was around Memorial Day, and the Doolittle Raid and James Doolittle, and that we have a couple restaurants in Minnesota that are Doolittles, and one is in the town a half hour from me, and they just had to close last week. They were not able to, I mean, they reopened after quarantine, but they were not able to recover. And so they have closed down. And I'm so sad because it was an excellent, excellent restaurant. I don't know if the one in Minneapolis had to close or not, but just one of the casualties there. Okay, garden tip. I actually have two, kind of. So, oh, thanks, Sean. I can move my mouth and trying to really mess with you. Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, yes, Patty, absolutely. Ready for your story. Go ahead. Hey, Morris Patch of Heaven. Hello, thanks for coming in. Thank you for being here. Did you like that shot? I don't know how much I'd be able to do that. I would mess myself up well. But oh, thanks, Alicia. I know Patty, Tinker's wife, has a little story for this. So, borage is known as the plant of courage. Oh, in the Middle Ages, they used to feed it to soldiers for courage in battle. Nice. Young ladies would feed it to suitors so they may have courage to ask their hand. Oh, that's so sweet. I did not come across any of that in my research, so that's a nice story to have. Thank you. I know, JB, that it is really hard. It is really hard, so welcome. A lot of small businesses have been hit really hard. So thank you. So for courage in battle. That was pretty neat. Okay, so first little one is it's just kind of a fun thing you could do to set up a little bit of solar lighting and to enhance or highlight your garden. And it could be anywhere just from one single solar light that might shine on an arbor or something, or just on your tomato plants or something. You know, it's because the hornworms come out at night. They like the nighttime, so that's where they forage. So maybe the light against it might keep them away. I don't know. I'm speculating here. Hey, Dave. Good evening to you. Thank you. Yeah, Christy, I'm so sorry. So you could do one, or you could do like strings of lights like Stivers have, you know, just all kinds of things. Oh, speaking of which, I bet Granny Karen said goodbye and I didn't. Oh, no, she's still here. I know you have to go soon. The hornworms being very famous. Oh, I'm sure they do. Hey, newbie steaders. Hello. Thank you for coming. So yeah, just set up some different solar lighting in your garden if you want to create this ambiance and just have some fun with it. And solar lights are pretty inexpensive, so anyway, they can get little different things. But my main garden tip is getting rid of earwigs. Now, I don't know if you want to give a thumb, you know, a hand or a thumbs up or something if you deal with earwigs. I have not here, but I know somebody in California who's dealing with them a lot. So there's a few different ways you can use to get rid of the earwigs. First of all, thanks, Karen. Take care. Thanks for being here. That's funny. You guys are great. I love your humor tonight. First thing is to remove any garden debris and excessive mulch, because they like to live there. They like moist things underneath stuff, and then they go off and forage after that. So, okay, Gail, did you need a team? Okay, we've got a few people dealing with earwigs. Last year's slugs were horrible for me. It's much better this year. But okay, so remove garden debris and any extra mulch that is not needed, like if you have a pile of mulch at the end of your bed or something like that. You can make oil pit traps. So you can use a small plastic container with a lid. Just pretend this is a container, like let's say it's a you know, sour cream container or something like that, and with a lid, and then punch holes along the top here, big enough so that the earwig could crawl through there, and then put a mix of vegetable oil, whatever kind you want, and soy sauce, like equal parts of it. And it can be, they say to fill it up, but I don't think you need to fill it more than halfway. You can also take a tuna can and pour just some oil in there, and they'll get in there and they can't get out, and it kills them. So, so that is like the oil pit traps, and from what I hear, it's been very effective. Another way to do it to get rid of earwigs is to sprinkle DE. Oh, thanks, Patty. That would be great. To sprinkle DE around the perimeter, diatomaceous earth around the perimeter of your beds or your garden, and then around the base of the plants. What that does, the DE causes tiny cuts in their exoskeleton, and so that will end up killing them because they're not protected in that way. Another thing you could do is leave damp, lightly rolled newspaper, not tightly rolled, but just lightly rolled in there. Make sure it's damp. The newspaper, leave it around the garden for 2 or 3 days. Earwigs love to harbor in those areas, in the damp things. That's why you want to get rid of like piles of mulch and stuff. But then they'll hide it into that newspaper, and once they move in, you can actually take that newspaper roll and then put it in a bucket of soapy water, and it kills them right there. That's the thing, Gail, that there's a lot of discussion out there about DE hurting beneficials. So it's something that you'd have to decide for yourself. I don't deal with earwigs, and I've got some DE, but I've not used it yet. I haven't had to, so that would, to me, for me personally, it would be like a last ditch effort, a last resource type of thing. So I'd rather use other things. I'd rather use soapy water, different things like that. Oh, thanks, Eliza. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. All right. So then, yeah, then put it in soapy water, and that'll kill them. The other thing is to have natural predators around your garden, and their biggest natural predator are lizards. Now, for me, that would not be an option because they're too close to snakes, and so we don't really get that many lizards around in our climate anyway. So, but if you have a real problem with them and you don't have a problem with lizards, go ahead and throw a dozen lizards in your garden, and it'll take care of them. Tammy, what they do is they chew up, they just ravage plants. They'll go and just chew them, and they'll make a mess of your garden, and they'll kill a lot of plants in a very short amount of time. I know, Sean, right? It's like, you get into the northern climates, like there's a lot of things we don't have to deal with. South Florida, and lizards are, oh, there you go. They're already taking care of a big part of your problem. I like your newbie steaders, that's fun. I like your big name, that's cute. I would think since praying mantis stay up high, if you're putting it at the base of the plants, there should be no issue. Okay, great. Thank you, Patty. Yeah, because you don't want to be just randomly sprinkling it around. It's just put it around a perimeter around the base of your plant, and it's not like covering everything. And so bees also don't go on the ground. They will hover at the plants and the flowers. So, neighbors wouldn't like lizards out in your yard. I'm sure that. So they eat seedlings, yes. And yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just as you're starting to get your garden going, they just will munch them right down. And so you don't want to be doing that. Anyway, so any other questions on earwigs? I had to do a little bit of research for somebody else on all of that, and when I came across that solution for the little container or the can, I would think it'd be a little easier to have the plastic container with a lid on it, because then if it rained, you're not getting, as opposed to like a tuna can, you get rain in there and then it's diluting it right away. So I kind of like the idea of the covered plastic thing. You had 2 praying mantises running across one bed the other day. Well, they're a great beneficial. Okay, May to June. Yeah, they've it's running fast. Yeah, so that would really, really help out a lot there. So for all of you, my moderators, they're just amazing, and I appreciate all of them so much. go check out their channels. Everybody give them some love, and I'm just so grateful to them. I really, really thank them for that. All right. What are some, okay, what did I not? Sorry, trying to bring something up here. I know we've talked about this before for your gardens, especially if you, okay, for those of you new, I do a prep tip also, because I'm not only gardening and homesteading, I'm also prepping. So I've got, you know, a lot of suggestions, I guess you could say, tips of what I do, you know, and sharing what I do to prepare for those hard times ahead. And it really served me well these last few months to be able to have things on hand, you know, and how to put things away, and how to take care of your family and your supply of things. One thing that really will help is, you know, I've talked about planting enough in your garden, not only for your immediate family and for your immediate needs, but also to have extra for extended family who may not be preparing, who may not be gardening, and who may need some food in the future. If you have the space and the ability to be able to do it, also put up extra for those, like neighbors and friends and other people that are having a difficult time. And I think it, like Thomas, he gives, my goodness, 40 dozen eggs once a week to the food shelter. And so it's like, that is just so amazing. It's like, you know, just things like that to help other people out with what we grow, and things like that. So you've had cucumber beetles so bad this year. You know, it seems to affect different areas of the country differently. I know that like the middle and southern states had a really, really bad last year. Morse Patch, where are you again? I don't remember. I don't have my list here right now. Sorry. Praying mantis will eat hummingbirds? Ooh, they are nasty then. Oh, good night, Thrifty VG. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. Yeah, prep for yourself, your family, extended family, and others. Oh, thank you, Newbie Steaders. That's awesome. Yes, you know, if we have the ability, we have the knowledge, we have the, you know, God provides all the supplies for us and provides the food and the weather and the jars and everything else, then certainly be here to be able to help other people. Because as we can see, as we know from the last few months, things can happen in an instant and overnight. So, so preserve for more than just yourself. If you think, okay, well, I need, you know, 30 quarts of tomato sauce for myself for the year. Well, put up 50 or 60 if you're able to. Even if somebody else is growing tomatoes, just say, hey, if you have any extra tomatoes, let me know, and I'll put up some extra sauce for you or something. You know, so yep. Thank you, Patty. Yes, we'll get through hard times together, because, you know, as you help other people, you know, they'll be, first of all, more likely to help you when you need it then too, and the generosity will end up extending out from other people. So, Dave, you're really trying to put up a lot of extra this year. Yeah. Well, your garden is doing well. You've really been growing, and it's different things. So, good night, Kiri. Thank you for being here. Oh, I bet they're appreciating that fresh so much. You know, when you're growing, like, especially like lettuce and spinach and all the greens, so good to be able to put those up or to give those away fresh. I know I've been giving away some too myself. So, all right, guys. pay it forward if it turns out no one needs it. There you go. You're ahead for next season, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming, Tammy. Really appreciate it. And Alicia, what were the prayers that you needed for? Need someone to can with due to your energy? Yeah, I know. Canning tuna. Wow. Maybe put it out on Facebook Marketplace in your area, Patty, and just say, thanks, Sean. Thank you for coming. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for your moderating. Yeah, put it on Facebook Marketplace to see if there's somebody there that would be willing to help you can things, and then have them bring their food, and if they're canning with you, they share that. You get a portion of that or something. So, all right. I'm gonna see Alicia, and I have to go. But Alicia, why don't you email me or message me or something, and I will be putting you in prayer. So you guys take care. Thanks for coming. Just have a great week, and God bless, and always have hope. Love you all. Thanks. Bye-bye.